Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we're going over all the new releases of August, and things are looking really good for VR gamers as we have some really anticipated titles dropping soon. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of other VR content creators that are making lists like this every single month. However, I'm going to set myself apart by giving you my strong opinion throughout the entire video. And anytime I have played one of these unreleased games and I'm not under any type of NDA, I will give you my immediate first impressions. So hopefully there's a little bit more reason for you guys to stick around because you get to hear, my overall opinion on these upcoming titles. Now, like normal, there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead to a specific game. But before we jump in, this video is brought to you by VRRock. VRRock makes prescription lens inserts for all of your favorite VR headsets, and now they have them for the PlayStation VR2. So if you've been struggling to get your eyeglasses to fit inside the headset, or you're afraid you might scratch the lens, these can be a great option. They magnetically connect, so they're easy to put on and take right back off. And if you're interested, I have a 10% discount code down in the description and a link to their webpage. Okay, so our first video technically released on the last day of July, but I didn't cover it yet, and it's definitely worth mentioning. This is Battle Group VR, a really awesome real-time strategy title with excellent graphics that put you in the cockpit of a spaceship. This game was in early access for roughly 3 years and just had its full release on Steam. It's also available on App Lab for the questers out there, and for any real-time strategy fans, it is a must-play title. You'll have full control and customization over a fleet of different ships, all with unique attributes and special abilities. You'll be leveling up your captains, who also have their own unique abilities and attributes, plus just about every single aspect of the ships themselves is upgradable and customizable. There's a full single-player campaign that's also playable in co-op, plus there's the addition of online PvP. And easily the most important factor of this game, the combat, is fast, furious, and requires a decent amount of micromanagement. But probably one of the most enjoyable parts of the game is just zooming out into space and watching the battle unfold, as this title has some excellent graphics. Now, if you're not interested in real-time strategy games, our next title is an open-world sandbox RPG. They focus on combat and exploration. The combat is physics-based, there's a wide array of spells at your disposal, and plenty of different enemy types to dispatch. The game looks like a combination of Blade and Sorcery meets Vanishing Realms, which would be a pretty excellent mashup. Now, this is currently an early access release, but future updates include dismemberment, ranged weapons, additional spells, an extended map size, enhanced enemy AI, additional settlements, and more depth in the merchant system. I definitely want to keep an eye on this game and see how it develops. Now, if you're more of a puzzle fan, we have the Riese Project Prologue. This title is intended to be a playable introduction to a future full version of the game. The storyline is based on real-world events, and you'll be exploring complexes built by the Nazis in the 1940s. The title's set to offer up several hours of gameplay, with an engaging storyline, packed with numerous interactive objects, and other means for you to lose track of time. Additionally, this project is made with Unreal Engine 5, utilizing the newest features Lumen and Nanite, so it's expected to deliver some highly realistic visuals. Now, next up in this week's new releases, we have the immersive cinematic storytelling experience, Aonar. Aonar is based on Scottish folklore, and you'll be taking on the role of a lighthouse keeper who's exploring the Scottish Isles. Now, there's really not much more information on this title available, but it does appear to be a visually immersive experience, and if you're into VR storytelling, you might want to check it out. And the final game dropping this week is Uboat: The Silent Wolf. Now, I actually already started playing this, and you're going to be controlling a submarine during World War II. It reminds me a lot of Medal of Honor, but actually in a good way. It's the overall aesthetic and graphics are very similar, but the game has a cool feel, lots of action. I didn't get into it that much yet, but if you are a fan of World War II games or submarines, it seems like a no-brainer for you. I'm not 100% sold on the title just yet because it's not exactly my style, but from what I saw in the first 30 to 45 minutes, I was definitely into it. Now, our next title is the PlayStation VR2 release of VRSkater. I've actually never tried this title, but I've heard a lot of good things. VRSkater utilizes unique mechanics to recreate the excitement of outdoor skateboarding. It's kind of like playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater from a first-person view. There's multiple different courses to experience, a training school if you want to master your skills, and finally a kick-ass soundtrack. So now you can go ahead and get your skate on without the risk of broken bones, unless you're really klutzy and you trip over a lot in VR and break stuff, which does happen. VR to ER is a real thing. But let's move on to our next title, which is a horror game. The Creature Zone VR Nightfall will have you investigating 3 infamous locations. This includes places like a campsite that experienced an extraterrestrial massacre, or a mysterious murder that happened at a local pizzeria. Now, you will be utilizing some physics-based weapons and handguns, and solving puzzles throughout the experience. Now, if you're like me and you're really not sure about this game, don't worry, because it's releasing for free. So that might be able to make you overlook the motion sickness warning that the developer put on the title, and I'm not sure if that's because it runs like crap, or because it'll have you floating through space and throwing the camera all over the place. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, our next title is the 3rd installment of I Expect You to Die. While I don't have an official release date just yet, I'm pretty sure it's coming soon because the game's listed as summer 2023, which is coming to an end. Plus, Shell Games started sending out these little teases to content creators. They're gonna want me to defuse a bomb. Usually when they do stuff like this, it's a little tease that their game is on the way. Now, if you're not familiar with the excellent I Expect You to Die series, it's a series of spy-themed comical escape rooms. You never know exactly how or when this game is going to take you out, but just like the title says, I expect you to die a lot. Now, as this series has continued, the games are just getting better and better, and there's been more emphasis on a robust storyline. The 3rd installment also happens to be a prequel, so it doesn't matter if you're new to the series or already a huge fan, I recommend this game to everyone. But for those of you who demand more action, we have Battle Glide, which is basically Spider-Man with guns in an open world sandbox environment. Battle Glide appears to pull elements from other exciting titles, like flying around an open world city in Richie's Plank Adventure, and rooftop firefights just like Stride. Now, as a sandbox title, don't expect a compelling storyline, but it does look like an excellent feature set for some truly fun gameplay. Now, next we're swinging over to another title that's also on App Lab, and that is Bounce Shot. The easiest way to describe this game is it's beer pong. The only sport I truly kick ass in. Now, I'll go out on a limb and assume everyone knows what beer pong is, but if you don't, or maybe it's called a different name in your country, it's a drinking game where you have to throw a ping pong ball into a cup. In true social fashion, you could set up a private room with up to 7 people, choose from 3 different environments, and then battle it out in 1v1 and 2v2 modes. Drinks are sold separately, and if you're like me and don't have any friends, you could play against 5 different challenge levels of AI. Now, one other tidbit that makes me excited for this game is the fact that it's developed by the same studio that gave us 11 Table Tennis. So we know the physics are going to be spot on, and this should be a high quality game. And speaking of high quality expectations, our next title is Firewall Ultra. Firewall Ultra is the sequel to a beloved PlayStation VR1 shooter. This new version has been updated to take full advantage of the PlayStation VR2, delivering new features like extremely enhanced graphics, advanced head and hand haptics, plus the utilization of eye tracking for things like selecting your weapon. While the most recent trailer for this game looks pretty darn terrible, almost like they went out of their way to hide the fact that it's a VR game. But besides that, I'm still actually pretty pumped for this game, just like our next title, Phasmophobia. Now, Phasmophobia is this absolutely fantastic 4-person ghost hunting experience that's currently available for PCVR and flat screen. I'm really excited that PlayStation VR2 owners will soon get to experience this, as it's easily some of the most fun I've ever had online while also crapping my pants. I honestly felt like I was filming the Blair Witch, and I expect both the excellent black levels and additional head haptics of the PlayStation VR2 to help deliver an even better experience. If you're a PlayStation VR2 owner with any interest in horror games, go check out this game as soon as possible. Now, my overall hype level will peak at the end of this month because we're going to get to play Crossfire Sierra Squad. I've been waiting extremely long for this game because I just want that adrenaline-filled action. This first-person shooter plans to give us an over-the-top single-player campaign, plus an additional 50 missions that are playable in co-op. There's a large array of weapons, enough explosions to make Michael Bay jealous, and for those of you who just don't want to run and gun and want to slow things down, they've also added a realism mode where you'll have to play a lot more slow and methodical. Now, do I think Crossfire Sierra Squad will be the next Half-Life Alyx? Absolutely not. Do I think it'll be an extremely fun time from the second you turn it on till when you're done playing? Yes. And, you know, we're playing games here. A lot of times I do want a much deeper experience, but for something you could just jump in, have a lot of fun, be truly immersed, lots of flashy explosions, boom, 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 I'm in it. It's like, you know, a nice action-packed B+ movie. I'm expecting something along the lines of Frack. Now, our last 2 titles should be releasing this month, but I'm not 100% sure. For at least one of them, I'm not very excited, and that's Sushi Ben. We've seen this game a million times before, In every single advertisement, it really doesn't explain what the heck the game's about. It looks like some crazy Japanese anime comic book style experience with nothing that compels me, at least. It might end up being a great game, but I really don't know what it's about or why I'd want to play it. Now, the other title is Ziggy's Cosmic Adventure, which I have played a demo for, and I'm a lot more excited about. Again, this is currently listed as coming soon, and I think they might sneak it in this month, but no guarantee. And Ziggy's Cosmic Adventure is a cockpit simulation, but it's also got a little bit of quirkiness to it. Not as far as I expected to die, but a little quirkiness to it. You could sacrifice the little Ziggy dudes, which is pulls on the heartstrings. And there's also some spacefaring and combat. So it's got a lot going on. It's a little bit of a puzzle game with, unique quirkiness, and I'm rambling now. But Ziggy's Cosmic Adventure definitely shows some promise. Not my style, but I could see a lot of people enjoying it. It just depends on how well the overall delivery is, if it gets boring over time or not. But that right there is it, guys. That's all the games coming in August. And I think this is a much better month than July, obviously. We got a few heavy hitters in there, games that I'm really excited to play. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. And obviously, give me any feedback. I know I'm cutting into the video a lot more, giving you my opinion. I want to know what you guys think about that. Is it a nice change up from the, just B-roll monthly videos that I've been doing? Let me know. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and dropping a thumbs up. And I will see you guys on next time.